I'm Jada.
I'm Christina, and we're the Gorgeous Geeks. And today we're here to talk about Man of Steel, which is probably the greatest superhero movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. I loved it so much. You know, I really loved the movie. When we left out, we had such a, it left you with such a feeling. You were just hyped.
I don't want to go back to the real world. I don't want to wake up and go to work in the morning.
I wanted to get lost in the world of Superman. Like, I literally had to be at work at 9 a.m. I only had 4 hours of sleep, but I did not care because that movie was so
I couldn't go back to
because we actually was the midnight showing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you had to do that. You know, because wait, hold on. Before we go into this, we're gonna play a little clip of something that happened a while ago when we were just trying to decide who should play Superman, and our first choice was
Henry Cavill, and that man is gorgeous. He get a thumbs up just for the cleft in his chin. He's gorgeous. To be quite honest, he's gorgeous.
And if anyone's like, no, he's just a pretty boy, you know what? I give him props because he was almost James Bond. I know James Bond, he could be nice looking or whatever, but he's also, you know, if he could beat out a bunch of older people, like the only reason he probably didn't get that role was because he was just a little bit too young.
Yeah.
So I gotta give him props for that. And he's a really good actor. I really love Count of Monte Cristo.
And so, as you guys can see, our choice
was always Henry
Cavill, and I was so excited when he was finally chosen, and he did such an awesome job.
The whole cast was
so gorgeous.
It was made to be epic. Like someone I was talking to someone at work, and they're like, Russell Crowe in a movie does not make it epic. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Of course, it's not just Russell Crowe in a movie. It's Russell Crowe talking in a British accent, talking about hope and honor. Hello, that's totally Gladiator. I mean, you have Gladiator and Superman mixed together. How does that not equal epic? That's like awesome math.
The thing that I really loved about the movie is that some people have, one of the complaints is that it seems like it's a little dark. You know, this is a more realistic Superman.
Lois is smarter.
Well, she just really did her job.
Yeah, like it's like, and she's not like, you know, like sometimes
and they made her really important to the plot. You know, she was very useful. Into actually defeating.
Right, like that. She wasn't like annoying. Like sometimes they make like Lois like an annoying like feminazi.
Well, the movie was totally captivating. I've never been so captivated by a film in my life. Yes. Like at one point during a fight, the skill was just so epic, and I was like beating on my seat, and I'm just like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's like too much. It's too epic. And then like I was like, I could have cried. I'm like, this is just too good. This is just too amazing.
You know, some people were actually like, some of the complaints was because there was quite a bit of fighting like within the city, and somebody actually said, well, Superman would have taken the fight outside the city. And if anyone has ever been haven't been in a physical fight, you know, if you're in a fight, you don't stay in one spot. You actually go from one room to the next, or one side of the room. You pick up whatever is there. It was a lot of us, and sometimes we wrestled, and we didn't stay in one spot. Like, you know, we rolled around in different areas. And they knew that the public was Superman's weakness. So even if Superman would have taken it out into the desert, they would have brought it back into the city because they would have had an advantage on top of him. So there's a lot of destruction.
And on top of that, it's an origin story, and you know, he's like first putting on the cape, so certain things maybe you would think about that because it was like an epic scale of destruction.
Right.
But
I was watching, I was like, dang, they really tore this city.
Metropolis and Kansas just Small was just wrecked. But that's I mean, he's not thinking like a veteran because you know he's
it's like it's his first time. I'm pretty sure, you know, years to come, Superman will figure out a way to be more safe.
But you know, when they fight in the comic books and
they throw each other all the time. It just made it seem more realistic. That's the thing about the Superman. The Superman was very realistic.
And it was so much. It was like, man, Superman needs to gather the Dragon Balls and wish back all the people.
it did make me think of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my gosh.
It really did.
Buildings falling and people watching and screaming and just like the fight was just all out and
but it was like the fight that you've only seen in comic books, and video games, and
animation,
and it was like, you know, like somebody said something about the Matrix, but it's not the same. Those people were asleep; they weren't even real. They weren't real, but
no, they're living.
We're not living. I'm talking about the, you know, the Matrix, not the real. Yeah. Speaking of the Matrix. Morpheus was in there, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Of course, he would have did an awesome job. I can't recall a time that Lawrence Fishburne really did a bad job at acting.
I think, everyone did a really great job, and nobody brought the movie down, and everyone, you know,
Kevin Costner was fantastic.
But the movie itself, the story, the direction, everything that was shot, it was just a perfect package. Mm-hmm. No one had to carry the film because the film was just, it could fly on its own.
Like, I have to say this. On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics scored the movie at 57%. 57%. And the fans scored it at 82%. And that fact alone is the reason why we started the Gorgeous Geeks.
Yeah. Because we realized that critics really know nothing about comic books.
It's political, and you know,
it's political, it's petty. You know, some of these people are, you know, you just
people didn't like Ferris Bueller when that came out either.
They really didn't. The same critics that dogged Ferris Bueller when it first came out back in the day are praising it now. You know, Singing in the Rain, that year it came out, it was not nominated for an Oscar. One of other, you know, Gene Kelly's movies won an Oscar, and you know, but that Singing in the Rain is the one movie that everybody talks about today.
Right.
You know, and so it's the same thing. You really can't, you know, listen to the fans. Listen to the people that like entertaining.
Read comic books. Yeah, there's things that they took liberty on and they changed, and some the beginning of Krypton, I'm like, wow, that's really weird. Made me think a lot about Sucker Punch. I know a lot of people thought that was too depressing and didn't like it. I really like Sucker Punch, but like as the movie was going on, and they explained it, the backstory, and why Jor-El and, you know, Clark and everything, you know, as they delved into it, you know, I accepted it, and I thought it was really interesting and cool. So, I mean, there's so many universes, alternate stories.
DC itself hit the reboot button.
I know, they
you can't, and if superhero movies have been coming out for years. And nothing is exactly like the comic books anymore. I mean, I know, you know, some liberties people take. We ourselves were like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? But this was, I think, Zack Snyder. Oh my gosh, they did an awesome job.
And the thing about it, like I can't complain. Like you were saying, DC reboots so many times. There's so many different
multiverses, like, you know, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, the Crisis of the Next Crisis. Like, just too many crises with all this
injustice.
It's not like, I mean, Marvel, you have the 616 universe, and that's like the main universe. I mean, you have the Silver Age, the Golden Age, and now.
Because like some people had a problem with Superman, something that Superman did.
I don't know how anyone could watch it and not understand how it went down. And I think it would be even inhuman not to do what they did.
You know what? And about this very controversial part that, you know, fans are probably the main thing that fans are complaining about, because they say it's something that Superman wouldn't do. I'm going to tell you something. When it happened in the movie, I did this. Because it needed to be done. Like, there was no other situation. There was that needed to be done.
If you actually read the comic books, he has done that before. He just doesn't like to.
You know what? I can't see how any person in his shoes wouldn't have done
the same.
It would have been inhumane for him not to have done
what he did. Yeah.
So you just need to go see it. Like,
even
5 times.
You know what? Even if you saw it the first time and you didn't like it, take the time out. You don't want to spend that much money. Find a way to get around it or whatever. Go on the morning show. Watch it again. Just watch it again and see and think about the parts you don't like and see if you actually didn't like it. Because I don't understand how I can just feel so awesome about watching this movie. I can't comprehend how people wouldn't like this movie.
And you know what, Dad?
Dad
actually compared this moment to when he saw the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, like how it left him feeling. Because when that movie came out, because when the original Superman came out, when Superman came out with Christopher Reeves, part of the trailer was like, you will believe that a man can fly, and it was just for all of it, like that was a moment.
Now you believe a man can fly without wires.
Right. You know, but that was a moment in time when all of America came together and they all experienced this moment, and it's really hard to describe, like, once you leave there. And so the dad said he hasn't felt like that about a movie, you know, since then. But like last night, like Dad was just like up on Facebook, like just talking about like just how awesome.
I put on Facebook that I said I've come to the conclusion I can't marry a man that doesn't like this movie. Yeah. Like, we will fight about it every single day of our lives, and our marriage will fail. Like, that's just how awesome like this movie is. And like I
can't understand anyone not liking, like, maybe you think maybe some parts were slow, or that it was really long, or it felt really long.
But it was an origin story. Like, you have to.
You know, I thought it would feel longer, like, just my perception going into it, because I'm like, how are you gonna do this origin story, tell everything that we've already seen before, do it different, and still be, you know, kind of true to what it is, and then bring in Zod, who is a character they didn't introduce until, you know, in the original movie, until like the second one, and I'm like, it was just boggling my mind, like, how will they do it?
And you could totally
wrote it really
and you could totally see clearly how they can set it up for the next film. And I thought how they did it and everything was brilliant. And I had somebody say, like, it was like, well, I don't know why they bring in Zod. Like, who else can Superman fight? And like, who else is going to be like? First of all, there are plenty of other people for him to fight other than the people that are in the movies. Like, there's a lot of strong people we can fight.
And then, since I know a lot of, you know, fans like Smallville, when they introduced Dr. Emil, the guy who's actually Dr. Emil on Smallville was like working with them. And so I think one of the soldiers was on Smallville, and of course Amy Adams was on Smallville. Not one of the not too great episodes, the girl who's sucking people's fat, but
you know, I really loved what they did with Jor-El. Like in this, like the role that
Jor-El blew my mind. Jor-El blew my mind. And I'm gonna say something.
Maximus.
We rolled into the theater with like 20 plus people, man. We walked up to the ticket booth. We was like, we need 16 tickets, and he was like, okay, 16 tickets. Like that's how we roll. We rolled. Our family members, cousins, church members, even our organist showed up. Like, that's how deep we roll when we go into these opening nights. And after the movie was over, we were all chanting Maximus, Maximus, because it was just so cool. Russell Crowe did awesome, and you know what? It's hard. I mean, when you have actors, like when you have veterans that like Lawrence Fishburne, Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner, and for Diane Lane, and for Henry Cavill to come in and to be able to hold his own standing next to Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner. I mean, that's just so hard. And then the writing of it.
We just need to stop, because I need to see it right now. It's getting me too excited right now.
I'm getting excited too.
I got to work tomorrow. Like mid-shift. I can't see it again right now. Like,
I'm getting pumped to see it again too. Like, I am. Like, I need to see it again.
Stop right
now. But no, hold on. No, let me say this right quick. Okay, like the writing, even with Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe, Jor-El and Jonathan Kent, like you can see like the opposite teachings clearly that they were giving in to Clark. And you know, Superman always had this kind of dual personality, dual teachings, you know, things going on in his life, and you could really see how it's set up. I mean, you really analyze this movie, there's so much stuff you can talk about.
And like the speeches, I mean, that's another thing I love about this movie.
I'm sorry, this is blasphemy to a lot of people who are in Hollywood and stuff, but with Russell Crowe, I was like, Marlon who? Like, I seriously said that.
What, Marlon
Brando? I was like, Marlon who?
You know, but one thing I loved about this movie is that it was a good, old-fashioned, wholesome American movie. That's one thing that I loved about it. I mean, you don't have to have all this gratuitous sex and all this other stuff. It was just a good, old-fashioned, family, wholesome movie. And I mean, that's why You Left was just such. I mean, you're able to just grab people's emotions like that without having to show, you know, boobies and, you know, like, and everything. Like, you don't need all that other stuff. Like, you saw the love, you saw the emotion. I mean, you had all of that. I mean, it was just like really just, they don't, one reason why this movie is so great is because they don't make them like this anymore.
Not really, not at all, not really. And I think that's another reason why the superhero movies are kind of doing well, because they're movies that the whole family can see, and they're hitting all ages and races. So, anyways, tell us what you think. If you think we're stupid, think we're retarded. I really would like to hear your opinions of why you didn't like the movie, because I would think you're stupid. But anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. I just don't understand you not like movies. I don't understand. I really don't understand. But go ahead and leave a comment, whatever. I don't care what it is. Pass this video around, say word, whatever. And check out our Facebook page, our Twitter, like us on Twitter at 3 Gorgeous Geeks. And don't forget to go to our website, thegorgeousgeeks.com. I am Katrina.
I'm Gina.
I'm Christina.
And we're the Gorgeous Geeks.